This is really heartbreaking article. Uncommon Dreams. I'll link it down there by Asadullah Haroon, one of the last so-called NVDs or no value detainees left in Guantanamo Bay. I think there's also one other one. Asadullah Haroon has been there 13 years, no charges, no trial. He is a prisoner of war, having just all rights, everything just stripped away from him at this point. And so he says, "Give me freedom or give me death. 13 years without trial at Guantanamo. My hunger strike is all I have left." I mean, again, needs to be pointed out time after time, the United States is the biggest purveyor of terrorism, violence, death, and destruction in the world right now. The U.S. empire is. I am an expert hunger striker now. I've been going on for almost 9 weeks and have lost 30 pounds. I now weigh 115 pounds. I checked this morning. The first 3 days were hard, but after that my stomach shrank and I was no longer hungry. I drink water because otherwise I would soon die, but I'm not feeling thirsty. I am feeling very weak though. The new senior medical officer is a decent guy. He comes by to check on me and says he is sympathetic. He asks if I'm going to harm myself or anyone else. I say no, it's just a peaceful protest. Give me freedom or give me death. This principle is very important to me. I don't want to just sit patiently in my cell until I die there. I do not want to die here at all, but I have to do something. I thought of a phrase I learned in English. It's a dog-eat-dog world. For now I am the cannibal because my body is eating itself. Has nowhere else to go for nutrition. They still bring the food at every meal. I ask the guards not to, but they insist they are under orders to offer something to eat, so they just leave it there. It is quite torturous, though. I have no appetite now. I find myself slipping away. My immune system is sinking slowly. When I lie down, it is hard to stand up. I have trouble focusing. My memory is bad. I forget the names of my family and close friends. I have forgotten parts of the Holy Quran that I had memorized. When I pray, I find that I cannot remember my prayers. 9 weeks. 9 weeks. And they're still holding him in Guantanamo Bay. No charges, no trial. He has been there 13 years. That is disgusting. This is the type of shit that makes me, ashamed to be a citizen in the United States when my government treats people like this, whether in our country or abroad. It's just fucking disgusting. No regard for human rights whatsoever. We should all be ashamed of this. It's fucked. They still bring me food at every meal. I ask the guards not to, but they insist they are under orders to offer me something to eat, so they just leave it there. It is quite torturous, though. I have no appetite now. I find myself slipping away. My immune system is sinking slowly. When I lie down, it is hard to stand up. I have trouble focusing. My memory is bad. I forget the names of my family and close friends. I have forgotten parts of the Holy Quran. Wait, we already read that. If I try to send a letter to my family, I find myself writing the same sentences over and over. They are very important to me, and I am desperately worried about them. Afghanistan is a poor country without the resources to fight COVID-19 and live in a crowded refugee camp. I want nothing more than to put food on the table and share it with them. I have nightmares. They repeat and repeat. I am in a very dirty area. I try to avoid sleeping barefoot in feces, though it turns out to be a landmine. Sometimes there are snakes, and I must find a path through them. I wake up suddenly, feeling cold with my heart beating very fast. Maybe they will start force feeding me if I go under 110 pounds. They did it to me in 2013. They force you to take liquid nutrient. The nicer guards allow you to drink it in front of them, but normally they put a 110 centimeter pipe up your nose. It is very painful. As it goes in, you feel you must throw up and become desperate to take it out. It is more painful for me than when I was thrown on the bus and my bones are broken, and this is every day. It can take an hour and a half, but they cheat and do it quicker, which is actually more painful. All this time you are sitting in the torture chair, strapped down tightly. Taxpayer dollars hard at work. Defund the police, defund the military industrial complex too. This shit is just disgusting. One day a woman tried to put it in and couldn't. She tried for 5 or 10 minutes. She just did not know what she was doing. It was excruciating. I am prepared to die if it comes to it. I look ahead and all I see is suffering. But what is the point of good health and life if I cannot be home? Think about this. This part in particular. My daughter was 3 months old when I last saw her. She is now 13, growing up without a father in a refugee camp where school has been closed for 5 months now because of the virus. If I was there, I could help to teach her. I could even teach her the English I have learned here in Guantanamo. I'm not hunger striking to make the military administration happy. After 13 years detained without trial, it is the only form of protest left to me, the only way to assert my humanity. Guantanamo strips us of every human right but the right to life. Perhaps as life ebbs away, the U.S. will at least be confronted with the pointless cruelty of keeping me here. Asadullah Haroon is an Afghan citizen detained at the offshore U.S. military prison Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, without charges or trial since 2017. Again, this is the type of shit that makes me ashamed to be a citizen of the U.S. when our government treats people like this. This is so fucked up. And then this is a letter from him back in April. Just kind of talks about some of the people. At its peak, there were 760 no-value detainees at Guantanamo. The largest group were Afghans, some 219 of MVDs. Thus far, 218 Afghan MVDs, just me, and one remains. I think there's actually one more, but yeah. Some will think that because I'm still here after 13 years, I must be guilty of some crime, even though I've been held without charges or a trial. But then the prejudiced people thought that everyone here was a terrorist. We're prisoners of war that has long since ended. Even those who take sides in a war, one in which the country is invaded and the invader kills children with drones, have done nothing wrong. The only way to commit crimes in a war is to do what the U.S. has done and deliberately kill civilians and torture prisoners of war like me. He's absolutely correct. As the faceless and numbered men told their stories, the world began to understand what terrible mistakes had been made in sweeping up so many people, bringing them halfway around the world to this Cuban prison. There was number 1154, Dr. Ali Shah Mossavi, a pediatrician from Gardez, who fled the Taliban and worked for the United Nations. His wife, an economist, and 3 small children waited for years before he was released without charge. There was number 1001, Hafizullah Shabazz Kyle, a university-educated pharmacist and a staunch supporter of the Hamid Karzai ascendancy. There was number 1021, Kaman Gul, who worried incessantly about his aging mother. And again, it's literally just crimes against humanity being perpetuated by the U.S. government, by the U.S. empire on a daily basis. Defund the police, defund the military-industrial complex so they're not able to violate people's human rights and dignity like this. Again, sitting locked up, being tortured, 13 years on end, no trial, no charges, freedom. This is disgusting.